Morning, nutraMetrix. How are you? Welcome to another one of our Facebook Takeover series. I hope everyone can hear me, but I'm excited about today because I feel like this is a topic that we talk about quite frequently, which is working from a distance. And I feel like this is the elephant in the room that everyone says, well, I have these contacts, they're at a distance, and I don't know the best way to work with them. And someone that I think is doing this really well, I'm excited to introduce you to is Catherine Longo, who's on screen with me today. Hey, Catherine. And Catherine and I at a distance. So Catherine is not only a professional coordinator in the business, she is also one of our nutraMetrix trainers. She recently was just awarded with top nutraMetrix consultant in the Northeast for 2018. And I mean, this is something that really is like practicing what she's preaching. If you guys have an opportunity to go to one of Catherine's trainings, please do, because she's in the trenches, in the field. She's giving you those real life examples. But Catherine, when I started working with Catherine a couple of years ago, she had this condo in Florida that she wanted to spend more time at, up here in Connecticut in the cold. And I'm looking at Catherine's outfit compared to my outfit today. And I said, "You're in Florida, aren't you?" And she said, "Yes, for a couple weeks." And so Florida has been really great. So I'm going to just give the screen over to Catherine. If you can just talk about a little bit your story of why did you need to start working with health professionals at a distance? How did this all come about?
Great, absolutely. Hey, everyone. So as Sarah said, one of the reasons that I really started with working from a distance is our goal for our lifestyle is to split our time between Connecticut and Florida. We just love it here. We love both places. And, really in order to split our time, and nutraMetrix is, the crux of what I do. And this is where my passion is. So to be able to really work from a distance, I had to, figure out what that would look like. And technology, thank God nowadays, has made it really accessible to be able to do that. And I wanted to make sure too that, while I'm away in Florida, that my accounts in Connecticut don't feel neglected and vice versa. I know that we could all pick up the phone, but, using technology to really have that connection with people has been just vital in the growth of our business.
What technology do you use, Catherine, when you're doing this?
So I like Zoom. And the reason for that, so I actually, you can join Zoom for free. So for the doctors or healthcare professionals you're going to speak with, it's free. And even as a consultant, there's a certain level that there's no charge for. I actually did decide to pay, it's like an upgraded account for $15 a month. And that allows me to have multiple people on the webinar for more than 40 minutes without being kicked off. And which is very important. But honestly, for the first year that I started using Zoom a lot with our team, we just did the free account. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you so it's zoom.us is a platform that I like. A lot of the health professionals that I've spoken with never heard of it. And it's really funny though, as soon as I'm like, it's really simple. I'm going to send you the link, just, click on the link and we'll have you download it. And two doctors that I'm working with down here, one is in his early 70s and another one in his early 80s, who are both transitioning from, one's an anesthesiologist and the other a urologist, and transitioning into functional medicine. And both of them separately were so giddy. They're like, as soon as they got on and can see my face, they're like, "This is great. Oh my gosh, I'm in the 21st century." So, be rest assured that when you use that link, I've never had any issues with it.
Can teach an old dog new tricks. That's good to know.
Yes.
So I know you're in Florida right now, and you had just said when we were chatting in the green room before, I'm going down to meet with, this account, Sarah, and that account. So, I know I have accounts, Catherine, that I hope I'll meet someday, but I really may never meet them. Like I can think of one I have, she's in Alaska and she has 2 little kids, and, it's really tough to be able to come all that distance. And I hope, but we do screen shares and things like that. But are you also meeting? I mean, are you building anywhere other than the places where you're half living? You're not building in any other states, right?
Well, yeah, actually, because of some referrals, I'm starting to work. I'm working with a doctor over in Denver, Colorado, and this, and actually one in California. So right now, I'm primarily building in Connecticut and Florida, but there's no reason that we can't do, like you said, just build anywhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One of my HPs in Connecticut, she actually is part of the Anti-Aging Association, and she asked me straight out about 6 months ago. She said, I have a lot of referrals for you. Can you work anywhere? And I said, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I let her know that I'd be working with them through webinars mainly. And if there's a nutraMetrix consultant in the area, I would work with them so that they could go in and, do a little face-to-face.
That is, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that us with our nutraMetrix team, I mean, when you work with us, so whether it's your own team, and I know for myself, like I work really closely with my parents, and both of us travel a lot for lots of different reasons. We love to travel. We have friends all over. We have different conferences. So I can think of, like, we have an account in Seattle that now we've seen a few different times. We almost have seen them. My parents just spent the weekend with her in Florida. They were both in Florida, but we've both been out to Seattle as well. And so that's been really cool. So it's sometimes with your own team, but then also with the extended team. I mean, Catherine, that if I went to Colorado and you had an account there, of course I would, try to make an effort. Like, I mean, that's what we do from a corporate side. I mean, I just was in London and said, I got to come to the corporate office while I'm here. Like, let me meet everyone. And, it's taking time. I mean, it's not, yeah, sure, I did a training, but it's not about that. It's about, taking the time to be able to do that. So,
Right.
Yeah, I just, we want to do that. We want to work with you guys. So what are some of the downfalls, though, with working at a distance? Like, let's just tell people, the good, the bad, the ugly,
Absolutely.
What are you doing with that?
Yeah. Yeah. And just to finish off what you were saying, as far as, right, we're not always going to be able to work with our accounts from a distance, face to face, which is a challenge. I feel, too, that let's just talk about this one account that I have in Florida who I've not met yet. And this is a new clinic that's starting up, a big anti-aging clinic. And the bariatric doctor she's resigning from her hospital position on the 12th and is starting at this new place on the 13th. So I am going down, and they're so excited. I'm going to meet with her, and they just hired someone else for the front desk, so I'll train that person. And a couple of the other doctors on staff I'll get to meet. But this is where I've learned to try to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going down in the middle of December, but their big grand opening is January 31st. Well, we already booked a ski vacation to Canada at that time. But the thing is that after I meet with them to see their level of commitment, what sales goals they're going to have, how, if we're really going to be and if I feel that this is a huge account, I'm willing to, and I already talked to my wife that, we'll leave a day early from Canada and fly down to Florida, because I would love to be part of their grand opening and have a nutraMetrix booth there and do samples and all of that. If I cannot do it, I know that we have other, some trainers here in Florida that, I might reach out to see if they can help out. But the thing is that in the past, I think I used to be so, oh yeah, I'll drop everything and come and work with you. Well, we don't make any money unless they sell product. And, it's very hard to know that at the beginning, but I think understanding their level of commitment and having those sales goals. All right, so you're planning on seeing, 40 patients a week. How many of those you're going to talk about nutraMetrix, and, how many products you're going to sell. So I think working from a distance has a lot of benefits, but if you're looking to actually get on a plane or take a long drive to go meet with an account, make sure that this is an account that's active and that has the same goals that you have.
I
That
wish
makes
you gave
sense.
me that advice 10 years ago. There was a healthcare professional out in California, and we did that. We packed up, we spent a lot of money, we bought a lot of products, we shipped them out there, and it was putting the cart before the horse, you know. And there's a lot of things I wish we had a little harder conversations with people. I wish we had,
Right.
you know, laid more of a groundwork before we went out there. So, you know, I think that you have to really just to take a deep breath and say, you're the expert. You know, you don't have to kowtow to other people. You don't have to, you know, bend over backwards, you know, just because you know, think they're going to be a good account and you feel bad you're not right there. And if you were right there, you would just go around the corner and go and see them. And I think that's really important, that you set expectations on both sides and you just know, guys are a consultant, and it's okay to tell people, listen, this is how I get paid. This is how the money flows. Like, it works from the company. I get commissioned. I don't get commissioned, you know, and I'm willing to put some effort into it, but be honest with me. You know, let's have this honest conversation. And you brought something up with staff, and I think it's really important. When I do meet with staff, I also take the staff conversation to an online conversation. I don't know if you do the same thing, Catherine, but I make sure that we're Facebook friends, if appropriate, you know, if they're on Facebook and they seem like that works. I text message them quite frequently. It was interesting. I have actually, this isn't at a distance. I mean, I think I could walk to this physical therapy office from my house. And I met this woman who is now the front desk person at this physical therapy practice. And we have had this great text messaging relationship. She's busy, I'm busy. You know, it's easy for me to whip her off a quick text message than, you know, to, you know, go over there and bug her in the middle of her day. And so, you know, and I know we can see each other. She's right there. We will have a in-person relationship. But I think that that's really huge. Do you get the staff members on Zoom as well? Are you doing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm the same.
And Sarah, you made a great point. Besides getting them on Zoom, is really, it's all about communication, right? And asking while you're on Zoom, or whether you're talking with that health professional or the staff member, how do you like to communicate? What works best for you? Like you said, just because you can walk there, they might look at that as an intrusion, as opposed to the text once a day or once a week. So I always find out, you know, how. All right, so we're wrapping this Zoom presentation up. Let's set another one up for the following week. These are the, you know, set all the expectations. You know, I like to tell them, you know, we're going to be on for 20 minutes. I need to do 3 20-minute segments to get you trained, or we can do it, you know, in one sitting. You know, what works best for you. Many times 20 minutes is perfect. And if they want to go a little bit longer, I don't let it go longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah. There's this new technology I've been using. It's called Loom, Loom. It's free. It's a Chrome browser extension. So I can pull up anything on my screen and do this quick video, and they house the video for me and give me a link. And then they email me after the link has been viewed. So I think that's really cool because I can see exactly when they've watched it. And so let's say I just want to get them a quick PDF, but you can do picture in picture too. So your face can be there. So I like that because it becomes real personal. It's not just a screen share. So it puts your little face in the corner. You can like talk about, let's say, a PDF, or you could show the plan or do whatever and then send it to them as a link. I just think it's really easy. So it's a Chrome browser extension. It doesn't work on Firefox. If you don't have a Mac product, I can't help you. I have no idea. I think you can still use it somewhere. I'm Apple all the way, but that has been another real helpful tool that I've been using. I shoot videos on my phone. I don't know if you do this, Catherine, but I don't know if it's loom.com. Someone said that. I just Google Loom, just Google Loom browser extension. I will flip my phone and shoot a video and then just send it to them as a text message. Because I just feel like sometimes it's lost. The other thing I'll do is if you have an iPhone, and I think you can do this on Android somehow, but there's a little button where you do a voice memo instead of typing everything out. So Dr. Mason and I, we always are doing that with one another. We're sending each other little voice memos. And I just find you get my personality when I do that more so. I love like emojis. I know this all sounds really silly, like, and I don't do it because, you know, I know people always say, Sarah, but you're younger, you're that generation, whatever. But I do a lot to try to connect with people, you know, outside the box and not just be, oh, same old, same old. You know, the other day I was on a group thread with the nurse practitioner I work with, and then with her office manager. And so in the office manager is a male, and then there's us. So I did like 2 of those little dancing girls. And then like I found a funny guy emoji, and I was like, Paul, that one's you, you know, like, and it was just funny. We were laughing about it, you know, so just little things like that. I think really personalize it. And Catherine, I think you would also agree that like you want to have those kind of accounts that you want to sit down and have a glass of wine with them. Like you want to be friends. Yeah. And have you done that? Have you become friends with some of these accounts?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you know, I was just talking to one of my accounts the other day about this, and, you know, kind of struggling with their, you know, with selling some products and things. But I said to her, you know, Nicole, you did not register your account because you think that nutraMetrix is the best thing in the world. You did it because we have a connection, you know, and you felt good about, you know, what I was saying, and you wanted to work with me. Isn't that right? And she's like, absolutely. And I said, so, you know, that's how we're going to figure out how to make this really successful, because I love working with you. You know, it is, you know, we have to remember that. I do love nutraMetrix, what it's about. The tools are there. But at the end of the day, people want to work with you. Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard that saying that, you know, people don't quit a company, they quit their boss.
That's so true. So true.
And, you know, so you have, and that's, again, you know, communicating, meeting them where they're at. One thing I do want to mention before I forget, and Sarah, you taught me this so much about LinkedIn. So you talk about, you know, how can you be really successful working afar and not handing them all this information. I've, you know, finally been able to streamline my, I'm sorry, not LinkedIn, Dropbox. That's what I meant to say.
Yes,
Dropbox.
Yes. I was like, I don't think I'm the LinkedIn girl, so this is new to me.
You're like, yeah, no, Dropbox has been a savior, because you can't, as you know, you cannot send large files over email. So I'll set up all my accounts with the Dropbox. I'll send them a link, and in that are all different folders, whether it's GeneSnip, TLS, office material, their contact. And once I do that, we'll set up a 20-minute webinar so that I can go through with them all of those links. They could share that with their office staff. So Dropbox has really been fabulous. I don't think I could have done it without.
Now you're going to do a Loom, so it's recorded of you going through the Dropbox, send it to them in an email. Right. And I like that too, because then you can put different people on a Dropbox. So I can just throw a file into the Dropbox, and I can say, you know, I'll do a call and I'll say, I'll just throw these into the Dropbox. I'll send you the link again in case you missed it. But it's always just the same link. And that's how people work today, guys, you know? And so, and if offices don't be scared of the technology either. You'll figure it out. You can't break it, guys. Like you can't break it. Go in, play around with it. Play with it with your team, play with it with your spouse, your kids, your friends, whatever. Just say, hey, can I practice setting up a Dropbox and sending it to you? You really
trust me, if it could have been broken, I would have broke it.
Yeah. I mean, the technology has gotten easier and easier. Now that we said that, I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about with at a distance, Dropbox.
Well, actually, I didn't quite answer the question you had said is, you know, what are the downfalls?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you know, you can't be with the account, and sometimes, like you said, Sarah, you don't even ever meet them. So that is a downfall as far as you know, some of these other companies that are going out there and their presence is there constantly. You know, so how do you make sure that you are you know, being relevant in their lives and in their practice? And the problem with technology is it is easy for them to cancel if they don't see that there's value. You know, and even if they do see that there's value, if, you know, things come up, you know, when you're working with busy practices. I think the downfall is that you're not going to be able to be there with them. And obviously things come up that, that are out of your control. But the best thing is to just, as much as possible, set up that meeting as soon as you can. You know, if I have a meeting on Monday, okay, so, you know, can we do this next Monday at 4? Yeah. Do whatever you can to keep that appointment, so that Monday morning I'll text or I'll email, depending on how they want communication. Want to make sure we're still good at 4 o'clock today. And then 10 minutes you have to, because we, you know, for some of us, this is what we do. We're business consultants with nutraMetrix. They primarily are doctors. You know, this is not the main focus of their day. So you have to learn not to take anything personally. You know, they'll forget. They'll have to reschedule quite often. I feel a lot of my success has just been tenacity. You know, and understanding that, you know, things come up and it might take, you know, 4 months before we really get that webinar put together. But as long as, you know, I'm there every couple of weeks to keep checking in, they'll remember me.
I think over communication too. Don't be afraid to over communicate. I send out every couple of weeks, I send out an email with upcoming events, an online summit, a reminder for the annual convention, maybe a video that I did, a video that was on the nutraMetrix page, you know, whatever it is. So over communicate for sure is going to be important. Yes. And I think it was funny we were talking about one account and you said, you know, that they don't really do much. And I said, is she on product or self? And I think people forget that step. And I don't care if it's at a distance or close by. I mean, for me, that's a non-negotiable. Like, you've got to be on product yourself. You've got to order and take the product. Is that, how do you work that into the conversation?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you talk about that right at the beginning?
Yeah, well, basically after the first meeting, it's always asking them, you know, do you believe in supplementation? Because they might just be like, yeah, I want to hear about this, looking to make additional revenue. But Sarah, you made a great point. And I have, you know, any of us that have been in the field for a while have made this mistake of signing up accounts and they don't buy anything because they're not on products themselves. So now I've kind of taken a different approach and really start with the product. And even will hold them back from saying, you know what, let's, you know, get on these products for 30 days. I want to see what your results are. You know, I have other accounts that right now, one account never registered yet, but she bought a case of OPC, and she has, I think she has 4 of her clients test marketing it, you know, and she wants to see, you know, what are their levels going to show with the blood work. It's a naturopath. So let's, you know, the worst thing I think is to rush into just registering an account because it's easy for them. You know, they $150, $20 a month. They're like, oh, that's not bad. But you're going to waste a lot of time and energy working with an account that does not believe in the products and is not taking them. Because as you know, if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to talk to your patients.
And it's like JR says, he doesn't work with anyone unless he has them on a trial run first, unless he gets them to lead to people first. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. This is not different than the regular business. Like, it's not different at all. And I think if you don't have a solid Market America business, I mean, you built your Market America business, Catherine, to professional coordinator. Like, it wasn't, you know, and you've weaved in nutraMetrix into there, but you're a true Market America distributor. You're a constant challenge winner. You're a master UFO. You're a shopping annuity master member. Like, you breed the business. And because you understand that, it makes you a better nutraMetrix consultant. And I know when I get on the phone with nutraMetrix consultants that I know aren't really solid Market America business owners. And I almost want to say, go back to a basic 5, go back to an NUOT, go back to an ECCT. It's not any different. And if your senior business partners, like at this point, I mean, I'm the director of sales for nutraMetrix. My senior business partners, they call me and ask me nutraMetrix questions. I'm the director of sales for nutraMetrix. Like, that just makes sense. I'm still within someone's organization. And But guess what? I'm not so strong at other parts of the business, and I still go to them. And so, I mean, we all speak the same language. It's all still the same. Like business building strategy is the same. I don't know if Elizabeth Weber has ever been to a nutraMetrix consultant training. I don't think she has, but I bet I could go to Elizabeth Weber and talk to her about a health professional and say, what should they start with? What should they do next? Where should I place them? What should I do with their volume? Like how do I get them to get to their patients? And she would have a great strategy for me. So utilize your whole team. And I know you do this really well, Catherine, where you understand how to say, oh, you know what? I also think you should do more with web centers. Here's my web center team member. Here's my, I remember what some of your accounts when you were more local and you had that gang of people where you had like 4 of you that were working one account. And right now you're kind of trying to recreate that from a distance, right? Are you seeing that as something that's also challenging? Because when you're at a distance, how do you get the other team members to work with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's probably if I was to say, Catherine, your next frontier is, to get these practices from a distance, but get some local NCs to help support them, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that is the big issue. And, just getting back to, right before I left Connecticut, before Thanksgiving, signed in an HP that really wants to be an NC. And she's so excited to be going out in the field and building this together. And then I told them I'm off for a month, but we'll do training over webinar. And that's not her comfort level. So, you talk about that. So it's like, no, Kath, when you get back. And it's like, no, but when? We could start training now. So there are downfalls to people that, they don't enjoy the webinars.
Right.
And so you're going to find that it's, just understanding the comfort level of who you're working with.
So
it's not easy all the time.
It's not. It's not easy if it's at a distance. It's not easy if it's you can't say the right thing to the wrong person and the wrong thing to the right person. And so you just have to talk to everyone, keep plugging in, constant communication. Is there anything else that you want to leave everyone with before we wrap up here today?
Well, the one thing is, as much as possible, try to get that webinar in, even if it's for a discovery meeting. And the reason I say that is body language is huge, and I think you could already know that when you're in an account and you've got your discovery questions, don't just read them and keep going through the motions. You have to, ask a question and look at their body language. And that's what I love about the webinars, because somebody that you don't really know, if they're frustrated or they're like this, with their hands over their eyes because they're so bored, you're not going to see that over a phone call. So as much as you can, let them know. I actually said this to an account in Connecticut that I'm trying to connect with via webinar. And I just texted her, I'm like, I would love to see your smiling face. Let's just pop on a webinar for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you could do that for, like you said, accounts that are down the street.
I use
so as much as you can,
I want a tour. I use that as an excuse that I say I want to see the office.
Yeah.
If you need an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's a great thing. And then over that too, as you know, it's just like the business, right? You can't tell people about the business. You have to show them. So what I love about Zoom is, that ease of sharing the screen. Because people are not going to learn by me just, even on a webinar, me just talking. I'm constantly sharing my screen so that I can show them things, give them control, and say, okay, so let's go again. How are you going to register a customer? And have them do it. So, so I just say, just communicate, ask them how they want to be communicated with, and try to set up those webinars as much as you can. Because that personal connection is why they want to work with you. It's because of you.
I love that. Catherine, thank you so much. Thank you for being such a great part of nutraMetrix Integration as a nutraMetrix trainer. If you guys have an opportunity, Catherine, do you have an upcoming training scheduled?
My next one is going to be in New Rochelle, Westchester area in the beginning of March 2nd.
Oh, fabulous. I hope you send me a flyer soon so I can post that
Absolutely.
in the group. And I mean, I just think hearing things 7 different times, 7 different ways from 7 different trainers, which is, you know, why our trainers are going all around the country and switching things up for you guys. So make sure you head to one of Catherine's trainings, because I think she just gives a really great perspective. Catherine, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sarah.